Hey, BookTube, coming at you on this the end of August here, last day of August to be exact. I hope you're well. I unfortunately I didn't get to contribute to Garb August. I had really planned to, but the couple books I was involved in pretty much took up all of my reading time. So I envy you those that got to indulge. Maybe it sounded like some of you've indulged a bit more than you probably should. A little too much sugary sweet, if you know what I mean. I finished up with Bob Woodward's War, his 2024 book. Um, so that was a very interesting inside look at the Biden's presidency, or at least part of it. Uh, Also dealing with Ukraine, a lot to deal with what is Middle East, with the Middle East and all that's going on over there. Uh, that's Pumpkin. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking here. Anyway, so yeah, I skipped ahead on one of Woodward's books, Peril. I'll be around. Can you come up? She wants to sit with me, but she's really buttering me up here. No? Okay. So anyway, yeah. So I finished up with Woodward's War. I'll go back and pick up the one skip book there, Peril. I mean, there's also the Trump tapes, but that's more of a transcription type deal. I may or may not check that one out. And well, I was at the library, came across Omar Akkad one day. Everyone will have always been against this. I saw this a lot on my feed. I didn't really read what people were saying. You know, just thought I'd check it out if I came across it. And I'm not. I wasn't previously familiar with this author at all. Even his popular tweet, which may, you know, seems to have led to this just under 200-page tome. How does one? This is a tough one. This. I thought this was going to be more of. I mean, if you take a look at that artwork there, heartbreaking artwork. I thought this was going to be more of a kind of a reporting from the, maybe from the front lines in Palestine and Gaza. But it's not that. He is kind of reporting like secondhand. He's subjected themselves to a lot of images that of murdered children, men, women. You know that's stuff that doesn't, you know. I'm reminded of if you've ever seen the horror film 8mm. The one character warns another, like you know, some images you can't unsee, and that's a lot of what he's talking about here. But they're not just image. You know, it's real people. It's I'm not sure how to talk about this one. It's this book is a lot of hurt. It's a lot of anger. And I can't say I disagree with them in any way. It's fairly disjointed, which even though it's kind of short, kind of maybe led to me taking me a little bit longer with it than I would expect. I don't know that what kind of impact this would have. It's a pretty scathing book. Interestingly enough, at some point, I wondered, what did his publishers think of this? And then almost like right after, he talks about a moment where he was bringing an early version of the manuscript to the publisher. It was like, are you sure you guys are all right with this? And they're like, well, it won't come out for about another year, and maybe then things will have changed. And it hasn't changed. It's horrible. Interestingly enough, in Woodward's War, he talks about, uh, basically, the United States funding Israel. And as much as Biden bitched about, Netanyahu, and hated what was going on over there, ultimately, in the end, nothing changed. I mean, they tried to get aid through, and he even went over. Biden even went over there in person, and they got things done in a very small degree. Got some hostages out and such, but ultimately, the aid for Israel kept coming through, and the bombs are continuing to this day. I mean, there's just wholesale slaughter over there. It's madness. And Omar Akkad's anger in here is, that the world is looking away from this. It's a very he's cutting through with language like a razor. It's pretty it's pretty strong. I mean, it's weird. He's got a couple spots where forgetting the right word for it, but basically he's making comparisons, and that seems a little clunky. But for sometimes he's got some surgical precision, and I don't know. You're gonna have to read it for yourself. But it's a pretty scathing indictment, not just of what's happening in Palestine, but largely the way the world is not really doing much about it. And as he points out, he's like, a lot of people don't want to use the word genocide because that implies obligation. So, not a fun read by any means. Check it out if you are so inclined. In a unrelated topic, between war, this book, and some others that I've read in the last year, just was, and just trying to keep up with news is, Middle East has been very dominant in a lot of my reading, and I'm often very confused by Middle Eastern history and geography, especially. Whoosh. So it just so happens I was on Hamilton book, and one of the newer books they got in was the Penguin State of the Middle East Atlas by Dan Smith here. It's got a cover price of $25, but I got this for $6, again, off of Hamilton book. This is new to me, and it does have a remainder mark, but otherwise, new book, $6 plus shipping. And this looks like exactly what I've been needing here. We have a lot of graphs, charts, maps, details, all different kinds of history going on in the Middle East up until this revised publication is 2016. So things have obviously changed since then, but I think this will cover a lot of what I'm looking for. I'm looking at this now. This is an updated third revised edition, so there may be even a newer one out now, which is why I was able to get this so cheaply. If you're not familiar with Hamilton Book, it's a great website that you get books, movies, CDs, I've ordered many books and movies off of there. It's a flat $4 shipping fee in the U.S. I mean, you can order a ton of books and movies. The movies used to ship together with the books, but now they seem to be shipping separately. But you still pay the one fee. I've always had good interactions with them, and I've even heard from some people that maybe something got damaged or bumped out. They got a really banged up copy, which they normally seem to pick out really well. And Hamilton has been, by all reports that I've encountered, have been really good about in their customer service and helping people, either replacing it or refunding or however it works out. So if you're interested, so I have this. Looking forward to checking that out more. I wish I had it maybe about a year ago when I started reading some of these books, but what are you gonna do? Take care, YouTube, BookTube. Bye.